It's really funny. So we got Ruckus a few jobs yesterday. Ahmed has a few options in terms of UX designers. What? Ourselves. Just us. Yeah.
I want to know why you think it's okay to fart on me.
Why I think it's okay to fart on you?
Yeah. I want to know who else farts on their loved ones. But I guess we can ask that later when people enter the room.
You started it.
When did I start that?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, yes?
Small ways.
What?
Yeah, small ways. Right?
Explain.
Like you started with just playing with proximity games.
You mean because I farted near you, you have to fart on me?
No, I'm saying, like close proximity flatulation is kind of like a form of air edging.
So you are saying that because I farted near you, you have to fart on me?
Well, you're leading the dance.
That's not. I thought that just meant that we're comfortable around each other and we love each other.
Mm-hmm.
But you directly fart on me. How is that?
It's about love, though.
That's love?
What else would it be?
I don't know. Disdain?
What do you mean?
You press your butt cheeks on me and then fart.
Yeah, but if it was a big fart, then even if it's a big fart, it's more funny. Did you be a reaction?
It's these moments that I wonder if you're a sociopath.
Why?
Because that's what they do. They like
fart on people?
No. They like seeing the reactions out of people because you don't have the same reactions. Oh,
okay. So let's prepare for today. Which means I need to put up my stand. And then maybe do a mix of songs. That's right. That's what I need to do today.
I connected my Bluetooth, so missed a few words. Can you say that again? Emotionally enthralling title. Okay?
All right, let's see. All right, good stuff.
Was it a song?
No. But most songs just have the same chords in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So most songs just have the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ding, ding,
All right,
ding,
so it's
ding,
10
ding,
o'clock.
ding.
Leaving at what? 4? When is this gig? Uh, huh? Manish, do you part on your wife?
Do I fart? No. I never fathomed, I never imagined that is a possibility. It's like suicide, if you will. Suicide. You wanna remain? You wanna die hungry? You tell me.
So we should leave
Death
at
by famine.
we should leave at
Yeah.
12. Not 12.
1:45. Calling to Twitter.
Okay.
Hold on, my Bluetooth got.
Another hour later, we are setting that hour. That means 12:30.
It takes a good hour.
Is it more than an hour?
No, an hour.
An hour. So we should leave at 12:30.
12:30 would give us, yeah. Uh-huh. Okay.
12:30 would get us there for. Wait, no, they want us at the 2, 1, 12:30. Hour and a half, right?
Yeah,
No, they want us at 1:45.
anywhere from 12:15. Yeah, 12:15 latest.
Yeah, so we should leave at 12.
12:15 latest means we have 2 hours.
Let's say 12.
12 to get there for 1.
Yeah.
Which means we get there at 1:20. Or we walk in the door at 1:30. Okay. All right. So that means it's time to make the mix. The last 20 minutes.
You're planning for your visit at the performance at school?
Yes. Yeah. So
Oh,
it's about
all the
20
very
minutes.
best.
Uh-huh.
It's
Thanks.
in about 20 minutes. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow, I'd love to hear that when you perform. If it's virtual or
Mhm.
how is it?
Yeah.
How's
I
the
can.
evening?
What'll probably happen is people will be recording while I play.
Uh-huh. That's
I'm
interesting.
gonna get in touch with the teacher. Send the bio. Okay. What are you up to today?
Me?
Yeah, you. What you doing today?
Uh-huh. I did some bunch of action items planned for today. Me and Mike discussed something, so I acted on it, and then yeah, got call from a VP saying, "Hey, do you have QA automation for um, Smart Bear Test Complete and a person who can work on Oracle Cloud Fusion ERP software to test that through this skill set?" So I was like, okay, I never did QA before, meaning I don't have QA people, but I'll figure it out. And then I spoke to another VP, and uh, uh, he wants me to train 10 Spartans on volley mapping. And so I said, okay, would you pay me? He said, buddy, no budget right now. Then I said, okay, no worries. 1 hour in a week for 4 weeks. I can do that. If you see value, we'll figure that out. If you don't, yeah. Because he has business analysts, agile coaches, and yeah, he thinks they might get benefited by poorly mapping. So I'm not getting paid for that as much as I wished to. But then I still said, okay, there will be product managers too. So mix of people. Before we build 300 Spartans, we have to build 10 of them. So yeah. And then of course I do product consulting with a startup. So yeah, some of the time went there. I don't do full time because I stopped selling my time. So
Hold on. This guy this guy doesn't have a budget for Spartans. You must want peasants.
I understand. I told you in the morning, right? I'll try to get
Yeah,
a paid gig. I'm not sure. He's my friend from Wipro.
yeah, no, I understand.
3 years
Right?
of, yeah. And then he's also my talent partner. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I need one, he's one of the people I go to.
Well,
And
I
so,
mean, at least you know you can get a QA person for free since you're offering your services for free. You know, goes back and forth. It's a relationship.
yeah, but the QA person is from another company.
Another one.
Yeah,
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 sure.
another one. Yeah, I know as much as I wished I could, but I can't. Um, this is kind of a test that I want to do
I understand.
as well. So it's kind of a, otherwise I wouldn't
Mhm.
have said yes to it. I'm gonna test some waters around it. You know what I mean,
Mhm.
right, Mike?
Of course, of course, of course.
So
Yeah,
the
no,
meat
believe me, I did a
one
lot of free work
is like a demo.
on my way to opening up doors. It's a can opener. I get it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hi everyone.
But
Hello, Rakus. Hey, Neda.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Friday.
oh wow, we have a totally diverse cast today. We're the most diverse group on Twitter Spaces among four people.
Manish, I'm doing QA as we speak for work. I feel like shooting myself. My God.
Yeah, that's what happened to the other QA person. They, they off themselves. So you ever ask the hiring manager, so what happened to the last person who was in this job? That often is like how you open up the fucking can of worms.
Good question to ask during an interview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why are you hiring for this in the first place? Oh,
I
someone
love,
left. Why they leave?
I love that question. I asked that question. No, I do, because you want to know what you're walking into, right?
Just the react, but believe, don't expect the truth. Expect a
No,
reaction.
yeah, I expect if their eyes go down, then I know that it was not favorable. But if their eyes get wide, go up and look, they can look at me in the eye, then it's
Even if you
probably
can't see them, you just have to listen to the dictionary they just changed to,
okay. But aren't there
right?
other follow-up questions to that question if you're not getting the right
Um,
response?
so, like, what would be the wrong response? So, if I were to ask you, so what caused you to start searching to fill this position? What happened to the person uh, who was in the shop before?
Then the bad response would be, uh yeah, so that right there tells me everything, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's like, um great question, I'm glad you asked. We're the department's growing, we created another arm, and they go into, growth, then that's, it may not be the truth, but it's at least something I can build on. You know, I'm not looking
Mhm.
for the total truth. I'm looking for Legos to build on, to ask more questions, to interview the company, interview, you know, what I'm walking into. And to your point, you're not going to know everything, but I can, you know, gird my loins for the worst, you know.
Yeah, you can get some insights like
Insight.
by asking them. So if imagine I get hired and I'm successful, what do I need to get done in the first 14 days? And you're going
Yeah,
to find out exactly what the other person wasn't able to do.
exactly.
In rare cases, this is laid out as part of JD. It's not a norm, but it should have been a norm. Like
Keep in
if you
mind,
get hired, how would
job descriptions don't
yeah,
mean anything. They mean absolutely nothing. They actually
right,
mean nothing. They were written by HR, who doesn't even understand the business.
right. And
Hmm.
I've seen some of them that laid down what would the subsequent 4 weeks would look like when you get when if you get hired. So yeah, there are
Yeah.
some
Again, those are
rare
copied
cases.
and pasted from old job descriptions, right? They probably
Uh,
copied it off their competitor's website and pasted it in. Go ahead, Nada.
There's something I wanted to say about my job, but this call is recorded right now. I just wanted to vent. Forget it.
No, you can talk about your friend Ruckus, who's in a
yeah,
particular
exactly.
situation.
Where have you been, Ruckus? Where's it? I'm sorry I've been MIA myself. I've had such a busy week at work with like deadlines and whatnot. So I've been MIA on a lot of Twitter spaces, but I hope you're all okay. You're doing well. I've never spoken to Casey before.
He's a white cisgender male.
What?
He's a white
No,
cisgender male. We have
saying
a
the
song
way you
about him.
say. Mhm.
White cisgender male. We got a white cisgender male. Everybody now, white cisgender
Yes,
male. We got a
gender
white
male.
cisgender male.
Yes, gender male.
We work here to. Now we have a diverse group, right? We have white cisgender male, black cisgender male, a brown cisgender male. Nada, right? Nada's unique, right? In 2023, right?
Yes.
The men we can give archetypes to. The women are snowflakes. The men can be compressed from WAV to MP3. Casey's like, what the fuck? This is a terrible intro.
Worst intro ever. Nice to meet you, Netta.
Pleasure's all mine.
You'll be happy to know that Casey doesn't conform to the archetypes of which his pigment would allude.
You're gonna just blow my cover right off the bat, huh? I could have played that up for who knows how long.
Don't worry. They ruin a lot of surprises here. It's not the first time.
It's kind of
No.
like an edging. Yeah, but going back, it's always interesting to find out, why they're hiring. One of the things I'll do is, before I take this job, is it okay if I speak to some of the people I'll be working with beforehand? And then their eyes are like, "What? Why would you want to do that?" I just want to make sure we get along.
Oh, speaking of, I wanted your input on something. I wanted everyone's input on something. So besides this current role, I was offered another role before I accepted this, and then it paid $30,000 more than what I'm making right now. And then what happened is that they had to put the role on hold, and then it got, I guess, put on hold for a very long time. I don't think I'll get it anymore because they were doing headcounts at the company, and it's a cybersecurity company. It was a customer success manager role. I'm still in touch with the hiring manager. She liked me so much, she even gave me her contact number. And we're doing our second virtual coffee chat today. Definitely not going to bring up the role, and I'm just going to keep a conversation casual. but like it's really, really interesting. It's never happened to me before that a hiring manager still wants me like to be in touch with her. And she even referred me for other roles at the company in January, but I haven't heard anything from them. And just to connect with what the host was saying earlier, my second interview was also with two other colleagues at the company as well, in the same who have the same title. Got a good idea of what I'll be expecting. They actually interviewed me.
Nice.
Yeah, I hope I get that role.
What's funny is that Ahmed Masood is hiring for UX right now.
I know he contacted me. I kindly declined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not a fit.
I got one on LinkedIn today.
What's that?
The profile of a UI UX person. She
Mhm.
viewed my profile. I saw her profile, and then I, saw that she had a break for an year, maybe for personal reason, but had a good history as a senior UI UX person. So yeah,
Oh, someone I know is here. Her name is Luan. How are you, girl? I think she's probably shy. Jump on and be a speaker. These people are really cool.
No, we're not.
Come on, I'm talking you up. You are cool. You're cool.
We're mean.
Yeah. Yeah. In a world where people are puffing their chest, being humble is a real strength. I like it.
bingo. By the way, we're talking about recruiting. There is one person, a body mapper named Yakin Fernandez, lives in Philadelphia, looking for program management, portfolio management, or delivery management. Worked in IT industry for long, manufacturing as his forte, either remote in the same time zone or Philadelphia. So just putting word out there. Who knows?
Hey, Luann.
Hello, everybody. I'm so sorry. I was trying to put the speaker on, and I was like, "What? How that phone doesn't work?" Hi, Nada. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm all right.
Pleasure to see you here.
Yes, definitely. I'm sorry. I'm new to the Twitter space, and I'm learning it a lot. So, I saw that, and I was like, "Okay, let me jump in and listen to what everybody has to share."
This is a very casual space. They talk about work, they joke around, they goof around. Sometimes it gets serious, sometimes the conversations get really deep. You find a little bit of everything here, and you find some very interesting characters as well. Every single person on the stage is a very interesting character. Right, guys?
Wrong.
Okay, well, I try to talk them up and they talk themselves down. Ruckus
No.
is one of the most interesting characters out there. Manish is full of surprises. He doesn't talk often, but when he does, it blows your mind. And I'm so sorry. I still need to know the name of the host. I keep forgetting, and that could be very embarrassing. But the name of the host, I do not know. But he shares the stage sometimes with his spouse. I guess they share the Twitter account. But they're awesome and very kind people. These are the three people that I run into in this space as like very often, and they're super authentic. I really like working. Like I really like coming to this space.
Oh, we're
I
coworkers now. Nice.
kind of feel like your coworkers because I'm talking to you as I'm doing my lovely job.
I know. Nice to meet you, Luann.
Definitely. Nice to meet you, everybody.
Welcome.
So, yes. May I ask, where are you located? I am in Chicago.
Oh, I am in Ohio. So we're kind of
I'm in
neighbors.
India.
Canada.
Good. Hey, hey, Canada.
Toronto. Hello, and
Yes.
so we are all spread across the world. Yeah.
That's good. That's very good. And that's important. There is a song. I have my friend, she's from Ohio, and what the song is was on the extreme and round in the middle, Ohio. I don't know if it's a song, but do you know that song, Ruckus?
What is it? What is it again?
What's look round? What says zero and round in the middle, Ohio? It's a song like that. I don't know. She sings that. She used to sing that all the time to me. I forget.
We have an Ohio State fight song, Ohio, and then there's a Sloopy song, "Hang On Sloopy."
Okay.
We've taken, so um, maybe it's one of the two.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You're fine. What are you in the city of Chicago?
Yes, I am.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I I left Minnesota to come to Chicago because it was too cold and
What?
too snowy.
Yes, Minnesota is very, very cold, but Chicago's cold too.
Yes, not like Minnesota, and I'm sure not like Canada.
Yeah, you guys get a lot of wind and snow. The lake effect there, Chicago.
Yes, true, true, true.
Yeah, yeah, my wife loves Chicago, so it's on our places to visit. Take the kids to go see.
Yes, the lake is nice and everything is cool, especially during the summertime. So yeah, Nita, what part of Canada are you in?
I'm in Vancouver,
Oh,
and
Vancouver. Okay.
yeah, I left Montreal because of the snow. And then ever since I moved here, we've had snow every single year. So last 2021, we had snow during Christmas and it got up to -14 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. And then
Yeah.
this year, we got snow in December and we have snow again. But it's not as bad as Montreal, but like it brought the snowy weather with me here. We haven't had weather like this since 1938.
Wow.
No one's used to it.
No, nobody can be used to the cold. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what about you, Manish? What city are you in India?
I'm in southern part of India, in Bangalore city. It's quite a cool place. The temperatures are like very pleasant here. I went to Goa recently to attend my cousin sister's marriage, and it was like hot and humid. It's on the uh, coastal west coast of central India. So yeah, a stark difference in weather. As multicultural as India is, there is a difference in climate culture as well. So yeah, I'm in Bangalore, south of India.
That's good. You're lucky. Better weather is I think for me is more attractive than the cold.
Yeah, never snows in India, so you might want to shift here as well.
It never snows in India.
Never. Himalayan region protects a lot of it on the northeast side of the country. So
I didn't know that. Thank you.
yeah.
Are you near Goa?
Uh, I visited Goa to
Okay.
attend my sister's marriage. I live in Bangalore,
Okay.
which is southern part of India in Karnataka state. By the way, Bangalore is called IT hub of India. because if you throw a stone here, it would eventually hit a software developer. Yeah.
I was wondering, have you ever been to Kashmir in India?
I have never been personally, but yeah, people do visit Kashmir for tourism and all that snowy weather. Yeah,
Well, I've
when
heard
it's
so many things about that place. I've heard that it's beautiful. It's like a dream. They
yeah,
have
it's
all
near
four
the
seasons, and they've taken such like, oh, it's like dreamy.
yeah. I think that's the only part of the country where it snows because it's very near to those
Mm,
Himalayan ranges. So yeah,
oh, it's just beautiful.
yeah. By the way, my cousin sister, she is a doctor and stays in Germany. So a lot of Germans have come here, and they were uh, very impressed by Indian hospitality. And the groom is a Christian, so we had a church wedding, and then my cousin sister is a Hindu, so we had that Hindu traditional wedding ceremony, and so that was fun.
Your weddings are very colorful, and you have like, from what I've heard from other Indians, if you have a wedding with less than 500 people, it's not a wedding. Is that true?
Really?
In
Wow.
in
Yeah, they
India,
celebrate big. They celebrate
yeah,
big, and I bet you must cost them an arm and a leg. I think
yeah,
that's
they
why they
do.
don't get divorced often.
Yeah, it's very expensive to get divorced. Forget about alimony, right? It's not on the table at all. We won't separate so easily. But there are cases, of course. But yeah, they do spend a lot on wedding. It was like a destination wedding in this case, a resort sponsored by my cousin, so I didn't have to spend too much, but it was fun.
I mean, I have a lot of Indian friends, and one part I find very interesting. I don't know if everyone else knew, but like the the man and the woman each have kind of like a resume for the courtship. I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up. Like the
So,
and apparently it's the paternal side, like it's the father or the grandfather that I'm not sure about the uncle that communicate with the other side. So if it's the groom, they communicate with the bride side, and it's only the fatherly and the male figures of the household or the family that do that. And they even take into consideration like when the child was or groom or bride was born, what day, what time, what year.
yeah,
They're very hardcore on
yeah,
astrology, on
yes,
education. Um, yeah.
yes.
When my friend told me this, my jaw dropped, and he's like, "You don't believe me? Just go Google it." And I'm like, "Oh my
Mhm.
god!" And it's available online, and I was like, "This isn't a job search. This is like love and feelings. And like you don't put that on a." But how can I say we have dating apps, so it's kind of like the same thing.
It's like informal social dating with all background verification that is done by elderly and then communicated in a subtle way. And it's the case of an arranged marriage. You're talking about arranged marriages, not love
Yeah.
marriages.
No, no,
Love
right.
marriages do happen in India, though. It's not that they are uncommon, but in case of like I uh, my marriage was an arranged marriage. So, however, I met my to-be wife in Bangalore because my sister-in-law's relative introduced her to me here, and then we met. Uh, I went to her sister's place for the first meeting, and then we. Uh, I was accompanied by my elder brother, and then we took it to our parents. But nevertheless, it was arranged marriage because the elderly spoke and then stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for your culture, but I love the parents, but I find that there needs to be a clear line, boundaries. Like I'm not saying this to like I'm not saying this at all to make fun or, to not a negative connotation. It's just I've heard
Mhm.
this. I've had to sit down and have this talk with so many of my Indian friends. They complain about how, especially with this courtship process, how their parents have no boundaries and how it's hard for
Mhm.
them to say no. Like one of them was one of my friends. He's like a senior engineer or something at Amazon. He's like 30
Mhm.
something years old and he lives in Seattle. And his parents are literally telling him who he has to see and everything, like
Mhm.
regarding this whole courtship process. So I just find that not all Indian parents are like that. Let's just say not every, just like, I don't want to stereotype at all, but I'm saying there has been several of my Indian friends, especially the guys that come and complain about their parents with they don't know where to draw the line with the boundaries. So I just hope that changes because it's not healthy for their grown kids, their adult children. Well,
Mhm.
their offspring. Yeah.
I understand, but something that it reminded me of an incident where my father took me uh, uh, for a car ride, and then the next thing I notice is, oh, I'm seeing a girl. Like, well, then he asked, "Would you like to marry her?" I said, "No," and he said, "Okay, no problem." So parents do respect I mean, the decisions of their children. What they want is, the families unite. That's all I think. So yeah, there are extreme cases in arranged marriages, like kids might be forced in certain ways or emotionally blackmailed. Not, but yeah, that tradition um, is not meant to force kids to marriage. I mean, go through such a turmoil.
Well, whatever is the case in India, I feel like it's not as bad as Iran. For women, at least, once they get married, they actually need to have the husband's permission to even leave the country, and he can
Oh no,
ban
that
her
has
from
changed.
leaving. Yeah, if she, yeah, it's Iran is pretty bad. Iran is pretty bad. If the woman doesn't get the right to divorce the husband,
Mhm.
um, she's screwed. And also, she can also ask for a heavy prenup or dowry. And if he doesn't pay it, he can also be jailed. So it's kind of like two-way street. And because of all the inflation and how everything is so expensive in Iran right now, no one is getting married. Everyone is just like, um, it's kind of like everyone is dating and living together, but no one wants to get married. So it's pretty bad there as well. Well, I don't know about India, but India is fine. Iran is pretty bad. It's like a whole different category for itself.
India has transformed very rapidly in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the new generation. has the freedom, and that's why even my cousin could marry, you know, a Christian and stuff like that. So and it's not that orthodox as it used to be. But the funny thing is, and this is a recorded space, but I would like to, I don't know how I should say that. But the church had uh, a lot of questionnaire, a big questionnaire for my cousin to make sure that the marriage stays and the intention is good. But it was like, given the food habits, how would you, uh, you know, adjust those, and then the festivities and the ceremonies. Have you talked to your partner about how you would adapt to these things and stuff like that? So there was an exam before the church could accept marrying them in a church. So orthodoxies are everywhere. It's just a
Exactly.
mindset.
Raucous. Can the host, can someone tell me the
Yeah.
name of the host, please, so I don't keep calling him host?
No, let's keep it a surprise. I'm liking it, and no problem, Neda. You
You're
can
all
live
evil.
without it.
Come on.
Neda, let it go. Let it, drop that knee. Not drop that for some time.
Oh, you guys are
Let's call him
terrible.
Horned. Let's call him
Oh,
Horned
of
Horse.
course, I like that one.
And the host stays on mute. He's probably away.
Yeah, he's enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Hello, then, my man.
Dan, what's up, dude?
I thought Ruckus would be
Hi, Dan.
co-hosting this.
Yep, there he
Morning,
is.
folks.
Only because I'm here. I'll probably. I know I'm working, so I don't think I'm going anywhere. It's raining here.
Dan, what do you do at Big Kitty Labs? Please.
Yeah.
I've been wondering about the name as well. It's very interesting.
Um,
Is it an inside joke?
it's a kind of.
Because
It's
in this space, there's a lot of inside jokes, and I'm not familiar
I
with all
know
of it
you
yet.
got to be careful in here. Now, Big Kitty Labs is a software development company. I started in 2009. Um, I named it initially after my wife's cat, which I just found her. It took me a long time to find a gal. Mostly I wasn't paying attention, but eventually I found somebody. And she had this like kind of like a just like a gray hair cat, but it was just beautiful, and but it was mean as hell. And I had to pet it with like an oven mitt. This is a true story. I pet it with an oven mitt because I loved the cat, and it would be like, all like, meow, and I'd be like, oh no, Odie, I'm gonna pet you. You're gonna take this love, you fucking piece of shit. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I am gonna love you. You'll take it. It's that kind of thing. So, but always took great photos of it, and so Big Kitty Labs kind of started. At the time, I was working for my brother, who ran a design research company, and design research is essentially he would go off and do projects with Procter and Gamble and Ford and Samsung, and they had questions like, we want to go over to Beijing and learn about say shampoo bottle design and figure out the next say 10 years of what shampoo bottle should be like for Procter and Gamble or something like that. So these are like product research projects, which is really kind of cool stuff. And this is the kind of stuff we kind of grew up doing from my father, who was basically an engineer in accident reconstruction, and so he was all about human behavior and understanding people and machines, and then where where error shows up, when the machine doesn't do what the human wants and all that kind of stuff. My brother, and I have four brothers, so I'm part of a big family. But my brother kind of followed in his footsteps. In basically, he did user experience at Hewlett Packard just when user experience was starting to sort of be a word, and so he started this company called Lexington, and um, he actually ran it for like 10 years, and then I joined it like right around the first. He ran it in Colorado, and then he brought it back to Ohio. Sorry for the long answer. There's context here that helps.
No problem.
But so yeah, so I was working in a lot of different fields, mostly computer stuff, but I worked in animation and a couple other things, kind of crazy stories. But anyways, I landed back in Columbus, and my brother had this firm, and he was kind of rebooting it in Columbus. And I kind of joined on as a tools guy. Basically, no one wanted to figure out technology, and so I was like, "Look, technology is important. You should think about it." I mean, I remember having meetings with people who would like debate with me on whether or not everyone would have an email address in the future. You know what I mean? Like, I was the odd man out in those meetings, because I was with a bunch of engineers and um, data science people who were big on empathy. Dan, it's not about an email. No one cares about email. I'm like, okay, here we are in the future, and yeah, that's the basic. You don't have an email, you're not alive, right? I mean, you know what I mean? So anyways, so I worked there for a long time, and in 2009 I went to this startup weekend that came to Columbus. And startup weekend is a event that started in Colorado as part of TechStars, and TechStars is a big, kind of started at the same time around Y Combinator and a couple of these other things. But essentially, it's um, an event where you get a bunch of people together over a weekend, and you have to start a company. Well, the theory is you pitch ideas on a Friday, and then Sunday you have the idea, and you present it to investors, and people go, "All right, we like you." And it finally came to Columbus. Like if you were into the scene, you were like always reading about it in California. You know what I mean? And you'd be like, "Oh, someday, Billy, that'll come to Ohio," right? That kind of thing. And eventually it did. And of course, I knew the organizers. I don't know how I knew the organizers, but I knew the organizers, and so they were like, Dan, you should come down this thing. So I showed up and didn't know a soul, and I pitched an idea to do a better user experience interface for Amazon Mechanical Turk, which was a tool I was using a lot. That's a whole nother story, but I used the heck out of that thing to do a lot of fun stuff. And yeah, and like people came up to me and said, "Hey, I want to join your team." I was like, "Okay." So we formed a 10, 11 person team right that night around this idea of eventually turned into doing user market research surveys on the iPhone. And that the iPhone had just come out. It's like 2008 is when this event happened. And yeah, and so of course no one knew how to build apps. Um, but what I decided to do is like, I'll just validate the research over the weekend. So I used the same crowdsourcing tool that I wanted to sort of modify or learn from, and then I did research. And over the weekend, because Turk was super fast, I was able to get the data back and then show the investors the validation for the business model, or the actually really the validation for the core concept, the fact, the need, and everything else. And because of that, they gave me money. They're like, "Dan, you win," and they gave me 50 grand. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, we're quitting our jobs. This is it." And it's like, no, that was that was stupid. But yeah, we started a company. It was called Joe Metric. It was basically metrics from average Joes. Basically, that's the premise of that. And it did all the classic things wrong. Like we had 10 founders. It was a cluster. It was a cluster. But hey, we learned a lot about, money from public institutions and everything else. So I got burned out in that experience and jumped out of that in about probably 9 months after it started. And I got focused on prototyping because I was frustrated with no one making a product and everyone telling me that I needed, either 100 grand or something like that. So I kind of like started to learn the dark art of outsourcing, or at least going overseas and finding different folks. And that at the time was not only sort of looked down on, but it was also sort of like, you did what? Like, how could you do that? You talked to a guy in Israel? Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Or you talked to somebody in Bangalore? Yeah, of course. So eventually it was hit and miss though. Eventually I created a test which gave people half the requirements in my aspirational goal. And I was looking for people that could basically cross the gap. They understood the requirements, and then they understood my goal, and were able to sort of pull off this test. And it was like a $1,500 test on people, on developers and I would just, I would make up projects. It's just kind of like I wanted to see things get made. So long story short is, Big Kitty was sort of pushed into existence mostly because the first startup was just a cluster, and I was pissed off at the process. And so I started Big Kitty, and I just started talking to people. People, basically, I made my own stuff, and then people started coming to me and said, "Will you make something for me?" That's usually how it happens, I think. So, and that's something you forget to do over time, which is a reason why your business kind of stagnates and goes downhill, is because you've stopped doing what you got into the whole thing to do in the first place, right? Um, and I don't know if I was really meant to necessarily start an agency. It happened, and we started in Panera's, and over time people started coming to me, and I got more projects, and then next thing um, you got a couple people. We found a couple really great developers in Ukraine, found a great team in India, started to get some momentum, but we were still working our day jobs. And the company, when I left the first company, Geometric, only one person came over with me, which was my partner Tushar. He worked at Chase, but he was from India, and really good guy. We really had the same. We're totally different, really totally different guys, but we have the same sort of ethical or moral compass in a lot of ways. So that's where we kind of meet. We kind of meet in the middle on that. And I've always been sort of somebody who needs an actuator. I need an actualizer. You know what I mean? Like, I can tap into the sun and pull in the ideas from the four heavens, right? But then it's like, ah, shit, anyone can draw? You know what I mean? I need the other person typically. Um, so Tashar was good at that. And he was working on a cricket site. Um, and he had a cricket project he was working on, which is some sport over in India. And I was doing UX and wireframes for my brother's company, doing all kinds of research projects. So it just made sense to sort of help him on that. And then I started working on my own concepts. And I made up a lot of weird concepts. I had a game called Chump Dump, which was a Twitter game that would analyze your Twitter followers and let you know who was not really participating in your life, so you could blow them away, right? Get rid of the people that are not really, retweeting you, or maybe they're not following you anymore. Like, get rid of the chumps in your life. And then it had a karma system, so that if you wanted, you could take a chance on a chump that got recently just blown away, and you could follow somebody new and try to get to know them, uh, and that was a really surprising concept, because it was just kind of a game, based on your, the data of Twitter, really. But it took off. It was way before its time. It took off, and I had a lottery on there, where, like, every day the lottery would give you an opportunity to sort of go in and blow away people. And if you wanted, if it would only come up every 12 hours. But if you wanted to get rid of that feature, you just pay $2, and then you could just, have a blast and do whatever you want. I didn't think that people would take the $2, but they did. They paid the $2, and then, then I had crazy times in the app. I'd have people spend 4 hours in a session just going through their friend, on my app, going through their phone, blowing up, and that really taught me a lot about stickiness and about what things. It just started putting patterns together. I'm basically a futurist pattern guy slash startup orchestrator of stuff. So that's what Big Kitty exploded. I mean, we ran it on the side though. Like, we worked our full-time jobs for the first 6 years of it, or 7 years of it, and then I got recruited to go into Ohio State to recreate Big Kitty. Ohio State was relaunched the commercialization office, and they were looking for So they had never valued software intellectual property before. They never saw it as IP. And so this guy that came in from Utah State was really big on software, but he was really big on the game of software too, where you create a lot of shell companies and you put a little IP here and you put a little IP here. And he did a lot of patent trolling too, which these are all things that you find out later on because people do a lot of crazy stuff in academia. It's kind of weird. It was weird to work for academia too because I had a different boss every 2 years. And then it became like every 9 months. It was like new boss hour, because commercialization. That's the other thing too. When I went to commercialization at Ohio State, we were like the most hated office on campus because we would, we were we were the export control cops. Dr. Chang, I can't notice you're having a great time with what was it, with Tencent. It looks like Tencent gave you another $6 million grant. Yeah, I know, I love it. What were the terms of it? I mean, for all you knew, people were sucking out intellectual property left or right. So I started tracking that down and highlighting it for management. Built a system for Ohio State to actually capture their software intellectual property. They didn't have a central GitHub or anything like that. In fact, most of their software IP was out on GitHub, so it had already been exposed. So any patents they were going after, or they could go after, were already gone because it was already exposed to the node. So we had to, get in front of all that. We had to create a new culture and a new mindset. So we created a GitLab system. Indiana was using GitLab, so we starting to use GitLab, created our own repository, and then we added a lot of cool logic into that to sort of help screen the IP, ask deeper questions, find out. We started to see patterns. Do you guys know that you have 12 professors on your campus all going after the same grant? You guys all know that, stuff like that, right? Or or people making intellectual property claims where the core IP is actually tied to the API you used and not really in what you were actually doing, right? So things that are going to get blow up in your face later on. So I did that for 5 years, and then more Big Kitty stuff. Kind of did Big Kitty full time after that, about 2016, and then now I'm kind of still doing that, but trying to sort of just I don't know what I'm doing just yet. Actually, it's just more of the upfront stuff. I have a knack of meeting people. People come to me and they want me to approach a problem or concept, and I help evaluate it. If they need help in the network, I'll help connect them to other people. If they need money, I'll have a good conversation about why do you need money exactly. So we get down to, oh, you mean you actually want a salary because you're killing yourself for the last 3 years? Yeah, you can't do that. Okay, that's another problem. I get it, but you can't go to the VC with that. Other things. So it's a lot of it's scene navigation is a big part of what I do too. So I don't know if that helps. That was a long answer, but yeah.
Wow. The path to entrepreneurship has taken you pretty far. Actually, that's a path I want to explore, but in the next few months. Right now, I'm looking for an idea, and not getting very far with that. But I just know when you work on something that you can call your own. I mean,
Yep.
It's next level, the feeling you have. Like
Totally.
I have an industrial design background at school. And when I was working on my industrial design project, my graduation project, like it was just me and myself. And it was so, so, so rewarding.
Yep.
There's no other word I use to describe this feeling. It's very rewarding and gratifying. But
Yeah. I
so,
think I tell students when I do a lot of mentoring at universities, which is a lot of fun. That's probably one of the funnest things to do. Like right now, I'm working with this team at a liberal arts school, and they're doing, they're trying to teach innovation in there. And so I got these kids who are basically working on like on an app for the college to do first year students when they come in. They have to find stuff for their room, so it's almost like a Craigslist for everybody at the university or whatnot. And then I told them flat out, it's a great idea. It's awesome. It was big in the '90s and it's big now. You know what I mean? In other words, this thing is so fucking dated idea. Like, okay, it's great. I mean, it's just the concept is an old concept. So I had, push these kids. Do more. What are you doing? You got, yeah, this is an obvious model. It's nothing new here. You could take off? Sure. Do you want to pass your class? Yeah. Are you an entrepreneur? No. Sorry. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm that that mean to kids, but at the same time, it's also that's what I'm known for. Like kids kind of like, oh, I want dance class because he's gonna like make us laugh and he's gonna like rip off the band-aid and destroy us. You know what I mean? And they want that. Kids, a lot of them get used to like sort of like read the following paragraph. I read it. Here is your grade. You know what I mean? Versus
Yeah.
more real world stuff. And so like on that like idea stuff, I think here's a good one. Do 3 ideas all at the same time for 90 days. And the goal is kind of twofold. One, the goal is to actually see which idea actually has the most natural momentum to it. Meaning it feels more effortless. You seem to either get it started easier, or did it, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And what you're trying to test for is kind of like, and this is something that's hard for folks, I think, too, is that a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in sort of like a forced linear progression on their ideas. I have to do this idea. I have to get this level of success before I do this because you're judging yourself on execution and success. When in reality, like more decisions you make, the faster you make them, even if they're wrong, that's fine. Document the data, but keep going because you actually are doing an initial exercise. You're actually doing a kind of yoga, a mental yoga to actually help you not only see the patterns, but you don't actually know which one of those ideas will really stick, and you're also stuck in the assumption land, right? This is the first place that people go. They create the whole scenario in the head. They figured out the whole model. Everything's already done. It's like eureka. There it is. Put it on a note. Here you go. Where's my money? Right? It's like, that kind of stuff
Yeah.
happens all the time. So you have to sort of like, I don't know. It's kind of like that mud triathlon where you get all dirty and whatever, but you cross the distance and then you try to do that again. So it's a great exercise to do just because it helps you see and it helps you start to think in patterns. That's the other stuff I really try to teach is help folks kind of like, and I'm not necessarily the data science like Ruckus is. I mean, he's more of the data science, but I'm and I can't even explain it. But that's also part of how I got to where I am. I didn't go to college. I don't know why my folks didn't force that on me. They didn't, but I find it an interesting path to hear. And it's also hard to like, you know, like where else can you go to work? And I'm kind of like, well, anybody have a biz dev department? I can help you. Do you have a product? I could probably evaluate it. Do you need grants? Yeah, we could look into that. How about IP protection? Sure, let's talk about it. So it's like it's all over the map, but it's fun.
Actually, I just wanted to ask if it's okay with you. I know someone who has a podcast. His podcast name is nodegree.com. And he basically speaks to people who don't have a degree and who have become successful. And it's a
Yeah,
podcast.
I'd love that.
If you like,
Use successful
if
lightly
you'd like
though.
to,
I'm an old. I don't know. I've done okay. You know, I
you're humble. You're humble, but you've come a
it's
long
an
way.
important aspect. It really is. It's actually part of my imposter syndrome. The minute I look into the sun and accept like who I am, sometimes it's hard. Yeah, I feel like I'll lose the signal. So there's a part of me that keeps. Oh, it's a real psychosis thing for me. And the other thing too is I never have to search for inspiration. I mean, it comes to me. It tells me to go online. It tells me to pursue. It tells me to take the risk that I really don't want to take. You know what I mean? But everybody here is like that too. That's why I like it.
I in this room or in general?
Everybody in this room, everyone part of the syndicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, folks part of the syndicate. We're kind of we share a sort of hive mind around that, and then we train our hive mind. Syndicate really is, it's almost kind of like it's a networking group. It's also kind of a boot camp for us to say the things that we want to say that we haven't been able to say, or to explore the concepts that people aren't exploring, or to it's cool. It's a good thing,
Yeah.
and yet at the same time, just like I said, we're together but alone by design to actually you know, kind of heightened when we do need to be together, or when we do need, you know. And at some point, we'll do crazy meetups. I look forward to crazy meetups. I don't know when they're going to happen, but someday we'll show up. And when we show up in the metaverse, I mean, we're like here all the time. So what else?
Well, I wish Bro was here to hear this. Well, I just wanted to be honest with you. I think you make this space or the syndicate sound much cooler than the host has made it sound. It's my third week here,
Yeah, but that's
or
part of
second week here.
our branding. Yes, it's a good cop, bad cop kind of thing. That's why he's red. I typically have this face. I'm supposed to kind of be the, hey guys, now let's not talk about racial slurs before noon, right? You know, I'm trying to get people. No, I, I also, I
Can you
mean, I
tell
help
the
kind of.
host's name?
I'm sorry.
Can you tell me the host's name, please?
Uh,
No one's telling me.
well, his name is Soyu. Uh,
Seriously.
well, it's up to him to really reveal that, not me. I mean, I could reveal it, but I think it's best that I mean, he reveals it all the time. He'll share links and that kind of stuff. But this is why the syndicate is it's a nefarious organization. First of all, and we get a nefarious title just because we will it into existence. We're just interesting. That's the thing. Everybody holds their own sort of creative key on what the syndicate could be. You know, by design.
So
But yeah, I don't want to
make
say
it
his
sound
name.
like
I think
we're a
he should
bunch of
release himself.
mysterious heroes.
Sorry?
We're like a bunch of heroes that hide under a mask.
Correct. It's like Anonymous. It's a more fashionable Anonymous with limited powers. We're not as strong as them. And we don't have righteous causes other than we could have righteous spaces where we have conversations and go places. Wow, that'll rhyme
Interesting.
together pretty well. Who needs chat GTP when you have a little humanity? Ooh, damn. That's a
Sounds patronizing to me.
oh, there
Who
he
needs
is.
humanity when
So hearing that, now you can ask him directly. Go.
him? Is that the question? Or when pronouns were?
Yeah, Nina wants to.
I assume that was the question.
Dude, you know what the fuck we're talking about. Don't make me go through the fucking swamp of realization for you, motherfucker. She wants to know who you are, so I should tell her who you are.
But who I am is rooted in my pronoun.
Uh,
What better way to tell her who I am but my gender identity?
describe.
It's Mike.
How about this?
Oh my god.
Assume yourself. Assume the role of a typical H.P. Lovecraft character, and then talk to her. There, you're from that universe. Go.
So I am Guyanese and I don't know what H.P. Lovecraft is. Is that like a plane?
Oh my god. Ugh. This is where you want to slam this guy across.
What would be what would be a xeno pronoun
I'm a
on
horse elf.
yours?
I'm a horse elf.
Not horn horse.
Horn horse elf? Don't call me a whore.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You're listening
You're
to the
equal.
Syndicate together alone. Have you ever wanted to hang out with other people but just hated being around other people? Well, that's why we created Together Alone. Let's get together separately.
Today on Together Alone, you can get 2 Wendy's hamburgers for only $4.99 when you use the code I am alone. That's right, I'm alone. Also, if you want to use Together Alone over at Sweepies, that's right, Sweepies, the best gentleman's club of the night. You can get 2 dances for 1 dance. That's right. If you go in there and use the code I work for KC. That's right. Just I say I work for KC and get a free dance. Actually, we should do that. We should have an affiliate system for syndicate spaces for deals. That's a product, Manish. I'm gonna make some wireframes. We just got to figure out how to like make it connected to spaces, and then we make it like we work with the Whisper AI, right? So we can basically like do real time listening of that thing and then like generate a code. So basically you could emote a code. Like right now I could say, you know what? I'll give you $3.99 off on that deal today. Expires in 40 days. and then like ChatGPT in the room, would then tweet out QR codes because it heard it and process it. Ooh, that's really cool. We have to work on that. I don't know how to do that yet, but anyways, noon. We got to call it noon. Remember, got to call it noon. Got to call it noon.
That's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
If no one is acknowledging it, I would.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just plug in Casey there, right? Make sure he gets the limelight and the promotion. That could be a good use case for ordinals,
Mm-hmm.
you think?
I kind of have a different, actually, shit with that new API just came out.
Oh yeah. What did you find?
Well, I just have a use case for it. I have this thing I want to do called like a session recorder. Basically, I'm gonna record these sales meetings. I have these construction guys do. They all get together and they basically look over leads for construction. And they're sitting around a room and there's like say 15 of them. And they go through leads and they have these conversations. And the conversations are like, okay, I've actually been recording sample calls because I'm gonna put them on a server, share them with you and show you and tell you guys what I'm trying to do. But essentially, the calls are kind of like name, location, observations, um, sentiment. They mention people they know. They mention money. They mention different specifics. And so I want to start to record these sessions and then start tuning them in and see if we can start detecting like a commonality pattern that we then can start parsing. We can basically build a parser which will allow them to record the meetings and not capture the actual audio of, shit, that was Jerry that said X, right? But instead capture the core insights. Kind of like there's programs that do this now for Zoom calls and for like Google Meet calls. Like Supernormal is a company that does that. They can listen, they'll take a recording and then they'll break it up. Wait a minute, Dan, if somebody else is doing it, why are we doing it? No, I don't want to do that. However, if somebody else is doing it, you could say, hey, Manish. And he'd be like, yes, man. And I would say, look at this. Somebody else is doing it. And he would like, cool, I will go steal. Right. And I'd be like, no, we don't want to steal that. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't steal. No, it's not stealing, but we should learn from it. Okay, I steal. Right. Because it's really the same thing. Anyways, all right. So that means that we can build that session recorder. Cool. And then we can tie it to the note system, which then we can tie it back to the core database and basically capture that information. And while it's different information, it's similar, That would be super cool. So I'm going to add that to the Project Panda is the name of the project.
Oh, nice name. By the way, if this were not private conversations, or at least confidential, if I would say, we already had Twitter recordings that we can read from Zealous.
Oh, you're right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I want to do it. I
if
want to do
they're
it
not
from
discussing commercials, I
Yeah,
think it's a good platform already. Huh?
that's true.
And all the massaging of the text can happen later. That's our IP.
Mm,
I mean, your IP. Right?
well,
Did I hear my name?
RIP is a better phrase. What?
Did I hear my name?
No,
If
I think
IP
we were
is your
talking.
name, yeah.
What?
Is my Indian accent so
No, no,
like
I'm sorry. I'm
IP
like
sounds like
focused at
like
work, and then and I heard something, a word that sounded like my name. Your
Oh,
Indian
that's
oh
accent is
but
fine.
it may be. I think we're talking about this audio recorder thing. All right, so
Okay.
yeah, so like the session recorder time. Yeah, so Manish, I did this thing the other day. I really had fun. I basically was trying to get the client, the client was giving me some materials, but instead I decided to just fire up ChatGTP and go to the site and explore my client's product purely from the user level, right? And basically suck down everything I could and inform ChatGTP as I went along. So we basically kind of reverse engineered the product based on how they were marketing the product. You know what I mean? Like they had this information, so we can assume they have this kind of thing. And it was just a really cool process to sort of like rethink discovery. And then I did it again, and this time it was for a client where I kind of got initial requirements via an email, and I sort of sucked it down to sort of parse it, which I'm sure people are going to start doing really soon. Requirements parsers, you know. That might be a cool. It might be a cool thing to work on. Requirements parser.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big market there because people suck at it already,
exactly.
and so you know,
Not only that, but you can
giving
tie
them
it
those.
into the voice class. So not only are you teaching.
Uh,
Well,
uh-huh.
I'm just coming up with, I'm not saying you have to or anything like that. I'm just saying these are like
Yeah,
brainstorming ideas, but it falls along the same lines of learn how to talk, learn how to do projects correctly.
yeah,
Yeah,
I understand.
that's kind of
The
cool.
the reason I said that, you know, requirement gathering conversations suck because they have their own motivations. They don't have a,
Mm-hmm.
common goal around it.
Correct. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so those disparities could be captured in those conversations, if you will.
Yeah. It was fun. I kind of sucked down the requirements, referenced them as separate items to the chat GP, and then did like different analysis, and I kind of combined them together. And it was fun. Like, okay, so what do you think? What tech stack do you think we should use? Yeah, I think these. Okay, that's cool. What, and then one of them was really vague. That's really vague. Can you be more specific? Well, fine, I'll be more specific. You know how ChatGPT guy is. It's just kind of funny. And then I was like, what are some compliance things I should be thinking about? It was cool to explore outside questions that I would not normally have an answer for, what I was able to get an answer for. That's good enough for me to basically do the number one thing in development. The number one game in software development is stalling. That's what it is. If you can stall well, and why would you want to stall, first of all? Stalling is about giving you more time to figure out what the fuck you're doing because you're actually juggling 64 fucking jobs at the same time. So if you can master the art of stalling, yet maintaining customer perceived satisfaction, you will be a fucking god in software development. As simple as that. That's a good one. We got to save this recording. Anyway, it's true though. I mean, and so
Best
it's
of
not
that.
always stalling, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, it reminded me, if you get the transcript of all the sales conversation and then you tell GPT, oh god damn, GPT. This is the first time I stuttered on that, but okay. Uh, and it's because of you. Sorry. No offense, but if you tell the AI that this is the conversation and at the end the sales did not happen, how would you change the approach to increase the probability of sales happening more than 50% or say 60%?
Um.
At least from 0 to
All right. Well, rephrase. All
50%.
right. Say that question back to me again. Give it back to me again.
So once you get the data
Yep.
of the conversation, you feed it to ChatGPT
Hmm.
and also tell it the outcome that this sales did not, I mean, the sale
Correct.
did not happen,
Correct.
right? The
Yes.
outcome. And then you ask ChatGPT what would be a
Correct.
better conversation from sales
Correct.
specialist
Yep.
such that the probability or chances of sale happening would increase to more than 50% or something of that sort.
That's great. I mean, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Giving, yeah, and when we slide that probability to up to 99%, because I know the AI would say there's nothing called 100% that might happen, we can't give the guarantee. But it's interesting to see of if we increase the probability in the steps of 5 or 10 from 50, 55, 60. how the output of AI would change,
Hmm. Yeah,
right?
I think
And for
that's what's cool is that you're also sort of you're adding another layer. You're adding a new element to requirements gathering we've never had really before, which is true prediction. So you're adding a new prediction layer in the requirements layer that's actually helping you forecast potentially decisions in that layer on what you should do, but at the same time, sort of helping um, inform the client on performance measures that could be added that they didn't even know about. You know what I mean? Like we just apply that to this situation, but if you take your core concept from that mindset of increasing sales, right? Um, that's the interesting thing. With the AI, we can sort of use different core concepts in the vertical of value and care and concern or compliance across the enterprise and look and actually apply different measures of improvement by context. So in the sales context, what will we do to the logistics pipeline to increase X? You know what I'm saying? To the back office folks, what can we do in accounting to increase X based on that? That's just, I mean, you could say, well, we would have done that in the past in requirements. Not necessarily when we're building a new tool. If we were building a CRM, we would have built the CRM. We wouldn't necessarily be thinking in the forecasting, predicting analytics notion of the improvements that we're making, if they were valid or not. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have had that analysis. We wouldn't have that conversation. We wouldn't be thinking about it. But now we can because we have Jarvis. You know what I mean? Allows me to not only take the requirements and say, okay, what is my client really asking for here? The client seems to be asking for this. Okay, that's great. Now, with that notion, what are 3 potential pathways to build a product? Now, you could go this way and this way and this way. Does that actually match my own thinking? That's what I'm always looking at. Does that match what I'm thinking? Yes. Okay, then cool. We're both on the same. You know what I mean? Um, but then I can add dimensions of it. What are some compliance concerns that should be taken in consideration given the new structures and change in laws and politics? Right. This isn't actually something that I would push, but it's appendix material for the client. For fuck yes, it is. It's definitely dinner material. Hey, I love what we're building. Did you know about Section 38D? We got to get in front of that. You know what I mean? Or GDPR. You know what I mean? Like this morning, I've been I've been consuming law sites lately. Like I crack. I don't know why. I've been totally sucked into it. Um, but I saw this case on White Castle where they put in biometric technology to sort of speed up their logistics internally. They basically allowed it so that the employees could basically scan their thumbprint and get their check quicker, right? So if the manager wasn't there, they could get their check faster. Basically, something like that. Pay stub verification system.
Yeah, you
And
posted that this morning, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And they put that thing in there, and they just started using it with the employees without probably going through what appears to be a proper process to ask for taking biometrics in the first place. And so they didn't have that covered by policy in terms of new hires or whatever. And so and it's like they could have checked their thumb, they could have checked in with the system up to 12 times a day times 9,000 employees, and it's like 17 billion in damages, some shit like that.
As you laugh.
But yeah, and at the same time, it makes me laugh because it's like if you food right now or anybody in fast food, you are welcoming those fucking robots like never before. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just like so much of our law and judicial system is still in 1705 or whatever, and then I don't know. It's just like that is nuts. But that could destroy them, and that's and what's crazy is that places like Wendy's and White Castle, they actually have an employee turnover rate of about 3,000%. So for all we know, this person was there for what noticed the potential issue. Someone did a little thinking, right? That's what the game is. So Dan can offer you more because we're going to actually do more thinking. And ChatGPT does another syntax only you do. Yeah, sure, you can buy prompts, but can you really buy sort of cliff note generation of things? And that usually blows up in people's faces when they really try to do things, but we'll see. Good stuff, though. Data in the deep. That's what it is. Yeah. Turn the mic off. I can't turn the mic off.
Awesome. So, I take that recording. Yeah, this is sick.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm playing an assembly for 300 people today. And so I have the book, which has all of the geometry, and then I have the music. So I made a mix of the music, and they're going to have the slideshow playing behind me. So while I play, they have the entire book just being sifted through. Beautiful. And now we can remove. It'll leave 20 minutes. Say 30 minutes. And voila. So if I take that, is that music? Oh, okay. I slow that down by 65%.
Put the lotion on skin.
Yeah, this is cool. crazy. This shit is gonna be nuts. 300 kids. There we go. Okay. Good stuff.
By the way, PSA, one of my friend who happens to be Wadi Mapper, a good one, is looking for a job in Philadelphia or any remote in that time zone. So he's looking for program manager or portfolio manager or delivery manager.
What
He's
industry?
into IT. He's into IT industry for quite a while, and he has
Which sectors would you say? What industries did you say?
manufacturing is his forte, but
So,
he's open to
so when you say
position.
manufacturing, does that mean he knows JD Edwards, Oracle, or SAP? Because that's a primary
Uh,
job, right? Depending on what you're doing.
sure, I will check on that.
Mhm. Yeah, if you're in manufacturing and you're program manager, you're probably overlooking a sea of Oracle, SAP, and JD Edwards applications,
Okay,
right? So if he can position himself, they pay good money for JD
Is
Edwards
that also an
folks.
SAP place? Isn't that a space where you see a lot of SAP or?
Well, if it's manufacturing, there's only a handful of applications that are robust enough for
Yeah,
that. So SAP has one. SAP has their ERP,
right.
right? Oracle has their ERP, but JD Edwards is like some old shit that people don't know about, but is like huge.
Yeah,
JD Edwards. Yeah.
interesting. What's the startup do, or what's the company do, Manish?
sorry.
What's the guy do, or the guy who's looking for people? What's he do again? I'm just trying to understand the space again.
Yeah, his name is Yakin. Currently, he doesn't hold a job right now.
Oh, okay.
He's looking for one. He moved to Philadelphia recently.
I see.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Mm,
Yeah. I'm almost 100% certain that if he's doing IT for supply chain and he's at a program manager overseeing a suite of projects, that he is um, using Oracle, SAP, or JD Edwards. And if we know which one, then it's actually not too hard to find out the manufacturers that are, you know, SAP, Oracle, or JD Edwards shops, and you can focus on this.
Sure, I'll get some more details there. Thank you so much.
You're listening to the Syndicate together alone. I'm putting on a pair of pants. How about you?
What? You wearing pants today? How dare you?
I know, right? Mm-hmm. Food. What? He's got a great lovely. What? How dare you? Okay. Where's my golden ballot? What the hell? So, oh yeah, this is still exported. Export, upload. Can you play this YouTube video while I'm performing? All you do is press play on this YouTube video and put it up on the screen. Your job is done. And you play it till it's ended, and it's 10 minutes exactly. Good. I put together the book into a video, and so the book as a video will be playing on the big screen, hopefully, while I'm playing. You get the visual, the audio, the kinesthetic. Or, yes, that's what I can do. If I can put the music on a USB key, then that'll be good. Mm. 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 No, I remembered where one was. All right. So let's leave. We leave at 12:15. We get there at 1:30. What time is it now? So we're in the middle, which is 2 hours and 2:30, but it starts at 1:50, right? Mm-hmm.
Just want to let you know the DoorDash is on the way with some
Nice.
mac and cheese because my tooth still hurts, so we're doing a little bit of mac and cheese. We're gonna try the Swiss. I like to get the Swiss thin cut turkey sandwich, right, with double turkey and then bacon. It really makes for basically an all turkey based beast, but it's super yummy. And we got some dream bars because that's easy to placate the wife. If she's gonna be on my ass about something, I can just give her a piece of chocolate and she'll go away for a couple hours,
You get upset? Take it.
Totally. So and I always get two of them, you know what I mean? Because it's first one would be well, whatever, I was entitled to that. I'm like, yeah, but the second one was actually my second one. He didn't get me a second? I mean, are you kidding? I had to choose the place. I had to do the work, you know? So yeah, that's what's coming. And we're gonna get a shake and try to eat it with a spoon. We never really get to hear that much about what Ruckus eats, so I think that's a segment that you need to cover at some point. Because I don't know. I mean, this guy could be like a protein mix or protein bar guy. He could be like Manish, where Manish eats vegetarian. So he'd be like, Dan, I would go out into the trees and I would take a branch and take it back, steam it for 6 to 7 minutes and eat it whole with my children nearby. I mean, it's kind of hardy. It's very hard. It's super hard on my teeth. I live a little terrible life. How are you? You know, or it could be something else. You could be like, it could answer in a classic ruckus fashion. No, man, I'm a barbecue. It's just me and fish. You know what I mean? We're just like lofty, like the fuck is this guy just like goes out in his like boots and stands in the stream. I kind of want to see so you do that sometime. I want to see him out there in a stream doing some fly fishing. Like he should be forced to fly fish just so he understands, you know, what it is to be American. You know what I mean? If like, because fly fishing, I don't know where it was invented, but it was perfected in America. So, you know, anyway, I gotta get ready for this call and try to look at this.
I had meaty paratha and now I'm having dal fry and jeera rice. That's Indian food and vegetarian. So, yeah. And it's tasty homemade food then.
Manish, did you hear that Mike got chased by like a UFO last night? Ooh, funny story. He got chased for a while. But hey, Casey, jump into the fray, my man.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you're talking about Mike having to go fishing, and for some reason in my mind, he's like successfully reels in the fish, but has like a horrible emotional connection to the fish as he's trying to kill it and gut it. It's just on the riverbank. No.
I mean, I am thirsty.
Ah,
I had a cow foot soup yesterday. What'd you guys have?
Ew.
How I imagine it was spiced to the point where you don't taste cow hoof, but I don't know, maybe
No, no, it's Jamaicans. They don't eat too spicy. They think they do. They don't.
like
They're like,
is there
yeah.
a definitive taste of cow hoof?
Uh, oh, really? Because it's with like a lot of other stuff. So it's like
It's like a lot of
cassava and
udder. Did you just say
plantain.
like a lot of udder stuff? Fucking horrible. I don't catch that shit.
Yeah, isn't that tripe? Something like that.
Oh, oh, oh. You just, goddamn. You know,
You,
a lot of
you
other
eat that
people
shit?
don't catch that shit. And I see you getting away with it in spaces, just dropping little puns here and there. People roll on.
A lot of other people.
Oh, mm. I can't tell you to move along or anything, so yeah,
Move along.
yeah.
Uh-huh. All right. So hopefully all I need is this guy. Yeah, the cow foot soup was good. We have plantain and cassava and all kind of thing what you got. Allie, what'd you have?
Talking to?
What'd you have yesterday for lunch?
Oxtail
Oxtail?
and dumpling.
Oxtail and dumpling.
Fried dumpling. It was so
You
good.
guys have making food
What
spots
to
out there?
say with dumpling? What you say? Kind of
It sounds like you're a Jamaican fucking vampire.
I know. I'm
Ah,
trying
I
to do the
come to suck your
Jamaican.
cow blood. You know?
Yeah, what you saying now? The pot belly. Pot belly come soon. DoorDash. Should you get off my case?
We figured out the demonic. If you want to be Jamaican, you have to pretend that you're from Transylvania.
Well, no, he almost sounds Chinese Jamaican.
Okay, try again. Dan, if you'd indulge us.
Thai Jamaican? Yeah. Well, go
No,
say you
Chinese
what?
Jamaican.
You have a problem with Thai?
Not Thai, Chinese Jamaican. Like, there's
Oh,
lots of
Chinese
us.
Jamaican. Yeah, you have Thai. Hey, haiku. Oh wait, that's Japanese. Shit.
Wrong slanty eyes, Dan.
Ni hao. That's Chinese, but then I always think of all those Japanese lines from anime in my head. Like Sabisu, 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 which is fan service, fan service, fan service. Don't tell me why I know that by heart. I just know it. I just know I do. Oh,
It was not only safer, but I think more fun in the listener position.
So, did you hear the word this morning that Casey got like the ultimate rug from Peter? Peter laid down the perfect trap.
Oh,
It was
I
like,
missed it.
oh yeah, it was awesome.
Me
Like, but
too.
Peter waited all day. Like he was on for like 5 hours. He was like, I want to get that fucking KC fucker when he shows up in here. It's gonna blow this room up on him right when he arrives. All this lay in this trap. Let's get a bunch of people in here. So we had like a bunch of people waiting. And then like hour after a while, I was like, don't leave yet. We have to stay up all night. And it was like 5:30. It was like, Casey's not up yet. Something's wrong with Casey. Is Casey okay? He's usually up early. And then it became a whole like 6:30. And we were like, wait a second, he's usually up by now. Something happened. And then I went into conspiracy land. I was like, I bet he drank last night hard. Yeah, that's it. That's why he's late. And then he showed up at like 7:10. And like right when you arrived, like Peter said 2 words and boom, room's gone. That was funny. Well, I know Peter felt bad afterwards. I did too. I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. We got to get in the room then. So we had to start over. On that note, I must go for a call and I'll be back.
Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Rakesh,
Yeah,
what's
dude.
the new?
Hmm?
What's the new inside? I
Putting out fires again. This is such a dumb process.
mm-hmm.
This
How
goes
so?
this goes back to our conversation about companies not investing in the right tools to be efficient, and
Oh, mm-hmm.
yeah, this is annoying. I love having to deal with spreadsheets. Once I've been working in the cloud and working with data visualization, and so it just slows down the process because it's like a relationship. It's like communicating, and if you're communicating through spreadsheets, it's effing annoying. Because there's too many hands in it. So again, my process is control the you control the process, you control the people, and since I don't have control of the process, I feel like um, it's annoying, and so basically, I'm going back and forth with email with leadership, and people are like, "Huh? What? I didn't." And it's like, I thought I had this, I thought I had that, and they're sending the wrong spreadsheets through email, and it's effing annoying. It's like this does not help with efficiency. So that's my Friday. And you're having to deal with sales too, so Mike is an
Yeah.
exception. But
Talking about
if I sent a note and said, okay, commissions are on hold until this gets resolved, then it will get resolved.
yeah, holding the money.
You hold the
Money
money.
moves dreams.
Yeah. If I said, hey, let's just hold off on commissions and hold off on this until this gets resolved, then a miracle will happen and everyone will get it together. But I'm trying to be.
Who has the decision right to say that?
I'm sorry.
Who has the decision rights to say that? If it were you, you would have already done it, right? You were looking up to maybe a CXO level to say that.
Well, I could say it, but I don't want to say it. I don't want to. I don't want to say it. I just want them to get it. I want to get it figured out. And I do need people to pay attention to detail. We actually have it's interesting because the person has put in their 2 weeks, so they've like mentally checked out. So that's also what I'm dealing with, and it's like, he's kind of like on the beach already. He's at his, he's just checked out. So, it is what it is. It's okay. It will get resolved. I know how to resolve it. I just want them to resolve it. I don't want to have to keep stepping in to resolve this issue. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
But it's a good day, right? I mean, it's Friday. We made it through the week. I just need to look towards 5 o'clock.
No, 5:30. You said
5:30. Yeah, 5:30.
Gosh, I come in and I hear, well, we made it through the week, and that's like positive.
I'm sorry. I hate complaining. I hate griping,
You're
but
not.
I also hate having to think for other people. Like, it's so effing annoying.
You're better off though doing that.
Having to think for other people.
Yeah, you're probably better off, especially in the long run. It's because in the long run, you generally find out the intelligence level of the person that you delegated to.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think one of the things is I'm not the bright one. I'm not a bright person but I understand. I got a little common sense, and I just feel like, geez, I'm not the sharpest crayon in the shed, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Come
on
on.
team, not the sharpest tool in the shed with you. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
And if we can get it, it's like, you can't see it. You're the sharpest tool in the shed.
Except the common sense bucket, I'm not really in that with you. So you have to put me in another slot in the sharpest.
Oh, I have oh. And we were talking last night. My wife was like, go into leadership, climb the corporate ladder. And I'm like, this is what I don't want.
No, I mean, your wife's probably gonna kick my ass, but go start your own business and try to be your own boss for as long as humanly possible.
You're probably right.
If that's just my humble opinion. That or work for the federal government or the state government, because they will never get rid of you. Never.
I worked for the government.
Right, so you know how hard it is, right, to get rid of something.
There's a lot of bureaucracy. Like, that was a pain point for working for that in that arena.
But the benefits, man, really
the benefits
good.
are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just a lot of old school bureaucracy.
Oh, I was lucky. I had a 1 year appointment to a clerkship for a judge, and I got to see all of that without necessarily being part of that. But I had all the benefits. I had like 2 solid months off. It's like, why, it's Arbor Day. You get the day off. I'm like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'll take it." Right.
yeah. Those are yeah. There are perks, a lot of
Plus
perks.
2 or 3 weeks vacation. It's like, how's my judge going to survive? He's like, I'm never here.
Yeah, yeah. You're
I
absolutely
took the
right.
day off to clean my carpet once there because I couldn't come up with a good excuse, but I had, because yeah, in a clerkship, if you don't use all your time, you just lose it. And my judge was really cool anyway. And I knew where I was going to be working after that, so I did everything and got everything done. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to give a wrong impression, but yeah, I wanted to make sure that I was getting everything used up that needed to be used up. So I called in and I'm like, yeah, Reggie, this is his secretary, Reggie. I gotta clean the carpet today, so you understand. He's like, yeah, yeah, have fun, long weekend, good, bye bye. So that's the life of a you know state and federal employee, possibly. I don't know, but I will say there's usually one or two people in the entire like bureaucratic structure that actually do the work. Like, so they're like having heart attacks and coming back the next day and working some more, and then there's like the dead wood that it's, I guess it's like almost like a regular office in a way. I don't know.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's funny now. I remember working. Yeah, that is. You're going to shovel it wherever you go, right?
Some places worse than others. Um, my
Yeah.
ex's family worked at the Philadelphia Navy Yard, and this is in the 70s. And some of them got in trouble for like selling naval yard property.
Oh,
And yeah, so it's like, I guess if people get too bored, they manage to even find ways to get themselves in trouble. So don't do that stuff.
yeah.
Idle hands and all that.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. At this point, I should be starting my own business.
Well, it's
Um,
not a judgment. What I'm saying is if you're looking for freedom and the terrifying horror of freedom, or freedom, um, yeah, that's the way to go. But it can be terrifying.
yeah,
I mean, I did it for, I practiced law for almost 10 years, and then I had my solo office, and then I'm doing my businesses on as well, all at the same time, and it got crazy, but I don't know if I would change anything about that time. You know, it was cool to
yeah.
see things grow.
My strategy in during the pandemic, or 2020 2021, was to create uh, supplement my income, and so um, and I did, and it was just enough to like make a car payment or save up some money, just because, just to see if I can do it. And so I thought the route that was good is, and it is good, it's not a bad route, was create these extra arms of supplemental income. Um, but I've learned that that takes work and studying, and it's another job as well. Um, but it's not really enough for me to, step back and not work yet. Um, so, but I have toyed around with, you know, doing an agency esque kind of thing, but we'll see. Um, that requires a lot of, you know, little work too. So
Well, it's also your connections. I mean, a lot of people spend time on the golf course. A lot of networking gets done there. you know what I mean? Like different
Yeah,
clubs, things to do. You know, you'd be surprised how much pops up, especially when they know, like you kind of subtly put it out there, like, hey, I'm doing this. And people, you know, they tend to find an opportunity and throw it your way. You just have to, you know, don't be shy. Let people know.
that's true. Locally, I can do that, and I've been pretty successful at. You know, we really are a fan and a stan of the small business people, mid-sized businesses. So whenever we hear someone who has a small business, we always try to lend our, consult and, help them with marketing. So
Well,
that
you could do what I do, but I don't know if it would work for you.
what do you do?
I expose my boobs.
I could expose my wife's boobs, but I don't have many boobs, but
Well, you better talk to her about that first.
exposing your boobs are good.
No, I don't actually do that. Yeah. Although the AI might take my career. I mean, as a lawyer, I'm beginning to hear how the AI is going to take over, and then I'm like, well, unless the AI can sit in law school for 3 years and then take the bar and all that, I wish it luck. So anything that has licensure is not going to be taken over very soon. And all those licensure organizations will definitely take the position of what AI, and they'll close ranks, and so that's sort of issue for anything involving licensing is just going to go bye byes because there's no way. I mean, it's that saying that people who are familiar with their jobs for many years and want to keep their jobs will do anything to keep their jobs. So they'll just create this bureaucratic melee of the accountants will do it, the lawyers will do it, the doctors will do it, anything with a license will close ranks so that doesn't happen, which is unfortunate, because there are things that probably don't require a lawyer that can be done with AI, but it'll never come to fruition. So, um, one of the things that I hopefully gets off the ground is, some sort of pro se AI that doesn't quite take over for what lawyers do, but gives, pro se people a fighting chance. I think that's worth it. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that question came up yesterday in the space about AI, and I think maybe E-Rich had answered that. But yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Well, a lot of people come out of school now, with these. Like my niece is going to, like I said before, Moore College of whatever art, I think.
Yeah,
Um, and she's going for character development for games, and I'm like, what? I mean, and how much of that? And it's a staggering. And now I went to American University when in the '90s, and American University was like 26,000 a year, and I thought that was bad. Now it's like a person expects to pay that at a state college, and so I think my sister said it was going to be roughly like 55,000 a year. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And many years ago, my mother said to me, "We're not going to mortgage the house for you to go to college, Sandra." And this was after they paid for my sister at Rutgers, and she basically flunked out. Which I get it, I didn't. As it turned out, I didn't need them at all, which was good. Like I did fine without it. But um, when I hear $55,000, $60,000 a year for college for character development and games, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, well, how are you? So I asked her, I said, so how is this being paid for? And because my concern is that they'll put their house on for her, which ironically enough, now I'm kind of like, don't put your house, don't mortgage it to the hilt for that. Jesus. Sorry, Jesus. Anyway, but you know what I mean. So it ends up with financial aid. They still have to come up with like roughly 25,000 a year. And I went to American University on a full scholarship and plus a stipend in early '90s, and that was 26. So when you think of the rate of inflation for it's just been just completely insane. So I think it's really gotten out of hand, and I wish there was some sort of thought pattern towards regulating the amount per year that a college can up their, you know, yearly fees and things for courses. But anyway, I can't imagine going to school these days and being like, yeah, man, I'm going for character development, and it's like, okay, so you'll be a quarter mil in debt roughly by the time well, I don't know, maybe it's a 2-year school, but even at 120, that's that's just, I can't even, you know, holy crap. So anyway, I worry about the AI, coming in and taking, all these jobs, which is great in one way, but then you have all these people with bachelors of arts and bachelors in international studies, or just stuff that means nothing, and they're stuck with this loan, and the AI is like, hey, I'm working for free over here, and I have no feelings. I don't know what's going to happen with that. It's crazy.
I was a kind of an advocate of UBI maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I assumed that UBI would be implemented during a time of like a downturn in the economy where we lost a bunch of jobs. Of course, there's Andrew Yang and another guy out of Florida, not Cruz, Rubio, or huge proponents of it. But it looks like it might be implemented in times of good because of the jobs being people, like the economy will be good, but people will still be out of jobs.
I fully support UBI, even if we don't necessarily need it, because the rate of inflation is very roughly controlled by people who are not voted into office, and I don't want to say that it's simplistic to say that the Federal Reserve, has committed a coup upon the people, the Federal Reserves of the world, the central banks, but they essentially have. And there's no human way that a typical person is going to be able to keep up with the rate of inflation. Now we can like call it many other things. We can take things out of it, make it seem smaller. But when you look at the prices out for eggs, or you look at just prices of
I
anything.
don't think we congratulate the Federal Reserve for doing all that it's done. We all always talk about the bad parts of the Federal Reserve, but it
Right.
kind of kept North America on top of the human gene pool on planet Earth for 100 years. It's not bad.
Not
They
at
kept the
all.
charade going, right?
Oh, bravo. Yeah. I mean,
Which one among us would have been able to keep this charade going? They've done a masterful job.
now that is true. That is true. And yeah, and that's why I said it's simplistic to simply blame them. They've done the best they can trying to slow down the swirling of the drain, but that's why I support UBI. And it's a system that is just doomed to failure, and it's just really only a matter of time. So, but the UBI, maybe it'll make that faster. I don't, well, probably will, but at least along the way there'll be, um, I think it'll help people be a little less stressed so that they can become a little more Renaissance people, and a little less just focused on basic needs. And I think that's important. I mean, that's
The
how we
thing
have.
is, like, the immigrants are the new Renaissance people, so they're already being created, right? It's Manish, it's Ruckus, it's Damien, it's anyone learn.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
the Renaissance is still being experienced, just by different people.
Oh, that excites me too. That that we've gotten to that point. Like the 80s and the 90s were very me, and very, President Reagan thumping his chest and all that, and now we're kind of getting a little more willing to be flexible so that everybody can have more. And that, I think, in turn allows people to think about science and arts and things in a different way, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it boggles my mind. I think last couple weeks ago I read that 70% of our the United States economy is based on consumerism, and that if we stopped spending, we'd collapse as a country.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That it just blows my mind that we spend that much. And and I was a part of it too, but it's like, how do we get here? My goodness, that's incredible to me.
Yeah, it's all about stuff. Like, look at the collectibles market. Like baseball cards, they go through cycles, right? Like sometimes they go and they're worth quite a bit of money, and then for a decade or two, they're just trash. And that might go up again. And but there's some areas of collectibles, like for example, Howdy Doody, Roy Rogers, that sort of stuff. I don't see that going to auction and doing as well as it used to do, because the people buying that have died off. So it's interesting to look at consumerism through that lens, because you have people who are buying it because they're fond of it from back in the day, and as those people go off into the sunset, suddenly that collectible is not collectible. So here, now we're into the 80s and 90s, right, where people
Right,
my right, they're like,
right,
"Woohoo,
right, right,
SpongeBob," you know.
right. I,
So it's kind of
Sorry, guys,
interesting.
I'm going to lose reception soon. I'm just driving. Sorry.
It's okay.
okay.
Anyway, but you get to see that consumerism in terms of what is becoming less collectible and what's becoming more collectible.
Yes.